Are we live?
You know,
We are.
I never know.
We've been live for 6 seconds. Hey, everybody.
Good morning. Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday. We are back for another episode. This is episode number, what is it? Five. We are rocking it.
Oh, let me just tell the people. What time is I ready this morning for our episode?
9 o'clock.
On the dizzy dot. Okay, just wanted to point that out. You and the... All right. I still owe you from the last time. That's okay. I'll take my claps, my applause, because you always tell everybody that I'm late.
Well, first, what?
I was here at 9 o'clock, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Trying to figure out.
Even though my hair was trying to do its own thing, I still showed up on time. Now.
Starting with the... Oh, Lord. I'm proud of you, baby.
Why, thank you. See?
I'm proud of you. Mm-hmm. All right. So,
That's all I want. For you to be proud of me.
I am proud of you because I know the struggle. I know.
You see the struggle, right?
I see it. I know it. Hold on one second.
So today is a continuation from yesterday's, I'm going to call it Chronicle Confessions. Because these are, I don't know, I just made something up. These are stories actually that I've never heard before. So I'm very invested in the continuation of these stories.
I'm sorry, I just had to answer that text. Okay, yes. Well, I'll tell you what, this is exciting. This right here.
I
Well,
put
you
it here
keep
because you never
moving
drink
it.
You never drink it.
Stop moving my stuff. I put it there so I don't knock it over. I got to move my hands.
Oh, because, yeah, you're handsy.
Lord. This is our life. I try to do something and then she changes it and then I say, okay, right? That's how we survive. But I ain't saying okay today. You know why? Because
That's all right. I don't care. I was on time.
I have an announcement.
What's that?
You're always trying to just get in the way of stuff. I have an announcement.
You should have seen it coming.
I have a huge announcement.
What is it?
I have finally, after, how old am I? 54? Or am I 55? I think 54.
You're 54.
After 54 years on this earth, I have finally found my ultimate purpose. Yes.
Okay. Now, let's go.
Yes. I have found it. I have found it.
I'm ready to hear.
All right. So let me just give you the background, everybody. Let me put my phone on Do Not Disturb because I don't want to be disturbed with this. So the background, all my life, I've been trying to figure out what it is that I want to do that really kind of, like, what is my purpose here on this earth, right? Now, since 6 years old, I've known what I wanted to do. Like, I wanted to be a pediatrician, so my whole life, was on the doctor path. And then even when I decided not to be a pediatrician, I was like, well, I'm here now. I got to do something in medicine. So, So everything was kind of like just one thing after another. And I've always had a path, but I've never felt that I was truly fulfilling my ultimate purpose.
Okay.
All right? So I'm going to start out by saying what my ultimate purpose is, and then I'll go back and tell you why I say that, okay?
Okay.
So my ultimate purpose is inspiring people to do different shit that's going to enhance their lives. That's it.
That's so broad, though.
I know it's so broad. It
It could be anything. You
It
inspire
could be
me
anything.
all the time to do stuff.
I know.
You inspired me to be on time today.
But this is what I'm saying. Because the whole thing is, your purpose in life is what would you do or what do you already do for free that you just love doing? That's it. right? It's not attached to a topic. It's not attached to a thing. Am I inspired?
Let me ask you this. Is it attached to an outcome?
It's not attached to an outcome.
Okay.
It's only attached to, it has to enhance the quality of their life. It has to improve their life in some way.
Gotcha.
Right?
Okay.
Now, sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes I inspire people to do stuff. It might not enhance the quality, but that's always my purpose.
Like cheating.
Why you got? Yes, I help people get better grades. All right,
Which in turn enhances their
which in
quality
turn
of life.
enhances the quality. Exactly.
Yeah,
All right,
okay,
I was still
get it.
trying to help enhance their lives. Right now, if we got caught, and which we didn't, but if we got caught and then
Right.
they got expelled, then that wouldn't have worked out too well. Right.
That's true.
Right. So, guess when it started?
I'm not gonna go into that again. When you were in med school.
No, way before that.
Really?
It started at birth. At birth, I was born into this world fulfilling my purpose. Let me explain.
Yes, please do, because I was.
Let me explain, right? So, my mom did not want to have any more kids,
Okay.
right? You remember she was,
Yeah. I
she
remember
told you
she
that,
told me
right?
that, yeah.
She did not want to have any more kids. She was like, I'm done. Like, my two older brothers, like, sealed the deal for that. I was not supposed to be born.
Right. But then she inherited two other kids as well,
Yes.
a brother and a sister. So it's actually four.
Right, 4. Exactly.
Yeah. You
Right?
can't leave that part out.
I know it, but it was the ones that she gave birth to that gave her the most trouble. Well, no, that's not true.
No,
Gary,
but it's still,
Gary
you
gave us
still
some trouble.
have to count.
Right, we have to count everybody.
Because,
But I'm talking about
as
as far as inspiring her to say, I'm done.
Okay.
Right?
All
Right? All right. So anyway, so she's not having any more kids. So my dad, so I did have some help from my dad to inspire her, right? But my dad talked her into having one more kid, right? When my mom and dad got together. So she was inspired to have me.
Right.
Now, for those of you all know me intimately, and you know this, so I was born and I became the biggest mama's boy of life. Like I was like, me and my mom were inseparable to the day that she died, right? And I was just a big mama's boy, and it greatly enhanced her life because I was always inspiring her to do different shit, right? And at the end of life, when she was given 2 years to live and she got 10 years, I constantly inspiring her to do different shit that was going to increase the quality of her life, right? So it started literally at birth, okay. Right?
Yeah.
So,
makes sense.
so then after that, my dad was very inspiring in everything that he did, right? And so that kind of like, instilled it in me, because my dad was always like, people was always just happy, when he was, whether he was working for someone, whether he was helping someone or what have you. And then when I went to my pediatrician inspired me to want to make people happy, because that was the experience that I had.
Right.
And so that's the whole reason why I wanted to be a pediatrician. It had nothing to do with anything else. So just like yesterday that you were saying, kids are genuinely more happy, because they're not thinking about responsibility and what they have to do and everything like that. Mm-hmm. So you don't have to worry about like what you have to do to get what you want. You don't have to worry. Typically, you don't have to worry about that as a kid.
Right.
All you're worried about is like, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm inspired to do. Mm-hmm. So all of my childhood, I inspired people to do stuff that they wouldn't normally do.
Right. Okay.
When I was in high school, for those of you that went to high school with me, I was very known for inspiring people to do shit that they wouldn't normally do. Stuff that was taboo, stuff that was like, people just didn't do that type of stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So that was always what really lit me up.
Okay.
And so it never was attached to anything, right? So for instance, I was always told, okay, you have to do this or you have to do that. I'm like, well, that doesn't really apply to me. The question is, do I want to do this or do I want to do that? So even going into what?
No,
What are you talking about?
I'm letting you finish because it sounds familiar.
What do you mean?
Well, one of our kids is like that, has that mentality now, and you don't have the patience for it.
That's different.
No.
What does he do that inspires people
The
to...
thought process is not different.
Well, the thought process is a kid's thought process.
Yes, but
that's a kid's
still,
thought process.
Yes, but you should still be able to understand.
Okay, but now we're going
process.
from my story that I'm trying to tell you that I just had an epiphany.
I said I was gonna.
Now you done took it to somewhere. Well, this is what you do wrong.
I didn't say that's what you do wrong.
You should have more patience.
Well, you should. I didn't say that though. I was just commenting on the fact that I see a similarity. You asked me what the was. I didn't.
You know what? I'm
anything.
not talking to you. I'm talking to these people right here. I'm not talking to you. So let me speak to you all since you all are listening. Let me speak to somebody who doesn't have ADD and they will listen to me.
I was listening.
All right. So here's basically this is every stage in my life. I was always lit up by inspiring people to do different shit that they wouldn't normally do, and that used to light me up because it would like enhance the quality of your life. Even medical school, right? You don't go into medical school to have fun. You don't go into medical school to like thinking that you're going to like have the best time of your life, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone said you have to focus, you have to study, you have to like buckle down. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that because, like I told you yesterday, I was always like a thrill seeker. I was always trying to push the envelope, doing something different, mainly to keep myself awake. And people were inspired by that, and so I got positive feedback, right? So in medical school, I get to medical school, University of Wisconsin, I'm like, okay, I don't know anyone. It snows all the time, and I went there so I could just focus, right? That was like, at least my, thought process. Yeah. No one told me that University of Wisconsin was like in the top 10 of party schools. I think it was like ranked number 1 when I went there, right? Wow. So I go there and, the medical school class, first of all, let me tell you about medical students. So you don't get into medical school, like all the people that got into medical school, they were used to being at the top of their class. Like they're the top of everything. They've never failed at anything. They were just like, that's what they're driven. They're driven, but they're used to being at the top. Yeah. Everybody can't be at the top. Right. In medical school. Right. Right? Yeah. So everyone was like fearful. They were nervous. They were stressed coming in because they know there's a curve and somebody's got to be at the bottom of that curve. Right. I didn't have that stress because I felt like I got lucky.
To make it?
To make it. I'm like, I'm just happy to be here. I'm just happy to be nominated. Y'all fight it out for the top. I'm just trying to, C equals MD. That was me. I'm like, let me just get my little diploma and get up out of here. Y'all can stress if you want to. I'm going to enjoy myself. That was my mentality. But everybody was so miserable, I never wanted to be around the med students, right? And so I literally hung out with the law students because law students were kicking it. They were having a good time, and so I hung out with more law students than med students. But even Chris, Dr. Fussell, right? He was driven, and he was like on it, and we were like inseparable, and I was determined to make sure that we had fun every single day. Didn't matter what we had going on, didn't matter what test, right? It would be 10 below, snow everywhere. We went to Walmart and bought a sled, and we put it in the back of his truck, and we would drive around with the sled in the back of the truck, and we came up with rules. The rule was, anytime that we pass by a hill, we're going to get out and we're going to slide down it.
Did you do it?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes, I'm gonna have Chris. I'm gonna have Chris on here one day. Chris Fussell. I'm gonna have him on here one day and tell you the stories. We had no money. This is the other thing. When you're broke, I mean, think about it. Think about when you were broke, like when you were young and you didn't have any money. Were you happier then, or are you happier now? You know, once you're established and all this kind of stuff. When were you at your happiest? I don't know about you, but I was happier when I was broke. And the reason why is because there wasn't really any expectations and there wasn't this fear of loss. Like when you have stuff, when you have a house, when you have a family, when you have a wife, when you have kids and you have a bank account, you're afraid, you're trying to hold on to all that stuff, right? And so it's like you get caught up trying to keep what you have and accumulate more. When you don't have all that stuff, you're more free and you can kind of just follow your passion or whatever it is that you want to do. Some people that was like study, some people that was having fun, some people was whatever. For me, I wanted to experience life to the fullest. So I joined the sailing club and learned how to sail, and twice, 3 times a week, you know, people are in there stressing about studying, blah, blah, I'm on a sailboat.
And who sails? In Wisconsin.
There was none of my friends that sailed. I didn't know anybody, but it was a lake. I saw sailboats, and
And you never sailed before.
I never sailed before. No.
So it's not like you were a sailing enthusiast and, they had sails there. You never did that, never really got involved in it and just decided to do sailing?
Yeah. And then after I learned the purpose, the reason why I wanted to learn is because, first of all, you know, black people don't sail, right? So that's one thing.
Right.
And, you know, you don't go to med school to join a sailing club, right? This is not
Wisconsin.
In Wisconsin.
Where the water is probably
So
frozen.
I wanted to learn so I could take my friends sailing, and I wanted to inspire them. I wanted to inspire them to do shit that they ain't never done that's going to enhance their life. And every one of my friends can tell you a sailing story.
Yeah.
Well, when we went to...
That's why I said med school, because when we went to your reunion, that's when I found out about all these stories about you and what you would inspire people to do. So that's why I said med school.
Yeah. So I wasn't a drinker. I definitely wasn't a beer drinker. But in Wisconsin, everybody drinks. I mean, I don't think you can have a driver's license in Wisconsin if you don't drink beer, right? So I'm like, you know what? Order a keg. I mean, not a keg. Order a pitcher. See, I don't even know what it's called. Order a pitcher. You know, I wouldn't just order a glass of beer. I was like, you know, 2-3 pitchers round the table.
If you're gonna do it,
you're gonna do it. Do it. The beer was cheaper than the water. It was crazy. It was literally crazy, right? And so, you know, it was a predominantly white school. I came from a historically, you know, black university, right? So that was a culture shock. And most of the students that, you know, most of the black students that went there, they were, there's like nothing to do. That, you know,
it's too cold outside.
It's too cold, right? We don't do cold. We don't do the water. We don't do, you know. And then they would have bands, right? They had this beautiful terrace, right? It was the Union, and it was on the water, and they used to have these like bands that would come and play free concerts, right? Don't nobody want to listen to that music? You know, it's like, whatever. I'm like, I'm going to experience. Let's do it. It's here. It's free. Let's do it. So I had 5 of my friends. We went to this rock band, right? We're listening to this rock band, Madison, Wisconsin. And so they're just, you know, that's my interpretation. That's my interpretation of rock music. So I'm
obviously
just like,
it's not smooth rock.
Right. So I'm drinking beer. I'm like, yeah, this is great. I turned to my friend Daryl, and just out the blue, I'm like, I'm about to get body passed. I ran up.
No, you didn't.
I did. I ran up on the stage, and jumped off into the crowd, and they were just passing me around, and I'm like, Daryl was like, dude, don't do that. They gonna drop your black ass. Don't do it. I'm like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. We had the best time. The best time. Inspiring people to do shit they would never do that enhance their quality of their life. Or it was the most fun ever. So undergrad, yeah.
And they probably knew that you were from the med school side, right?
Nobody know what the hell I was.
Oh.
They thought I was undergrad because everything I was doing was undergrad type stuff.
Right. Like the ping pong.
Oh man. Oh, ping pong. So I became a ping pong enthusiast. And I became addicted to ping pong. Like there was a ping pong table in the basement of the of the med school, right? And so I had one of my best friends, Michael Wu, and we would just be playing, right? And then all of the best guys. There was one Ethiopian guy that was awesome, but then most of the good top level, they were Asian, right? So, we play. So then I found another college in Madison, and I think it was Edison or something like that. Anyway, it was a college for students that English was their second language, and there was a huge Asian population, and they had a ping pong table in the main union area. So I used to go there every day and study, waiting and looking at the ping pong players, and then I would start playing. And so I started playing.
So you were studying them.
I would, yeah, because I had my, biochemistry book, stuff acting like I'm studying, but I was really studying them. And so I started playing, and I got so good where I started beating a lot of them. And so I would beat one of the best players, and then I would just leave. All right, I'm out, right? So then they would start looking for me to come, and as soon as I came, they couldn't speak English, right? And they came, and then we would just go at it, right? We'd go at it. I would do this every day, every day. And the other thing, so I pledged Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated in undergrad. I did one step show in undergrad, and then I went on exchange and went to Hawaii for a year. That's a whole nother story.
Right. Who does that?
Yeah, pledged and went to Hawaii.
Doesn't know anybody in Hawaii?
Zero. Didn't know anybody in Hawaii. Didn't know anybody that went to Hawaii. Then I was at a conference one day, and there was a girl. There's always a girl story behind it. There was a girl that was doing this presentation.
Talking about inspiration.
I was inspired. So she was doing this presentation, some science presentation. I have no idea what it was, but anyway, she was hot, and so I was like, I started talking to her. Where are you? What school are you? University of Hawaii. I'm like, really? Okay. Blah, blah, blah. And so I just got in my head, I'm gonna go to the University of Hawaii for a year. Now it wasn't. I didn't get her number. I didn't. It was just. Right. I just had a thought.
Right.
I wonder if I could do an exchange program at university. First of all, who in their right mind is going to exchange?
Right.
Coming from Hawaii to Alabama, right? Ain't nobody. That ain't. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna apply. Blah blah. I got in the exchange program. There was nobody that came to Alabama. I don't know how. There was no exchange, right? But I went and I spent a year. I had no place to stay. The dorms they reserved, because it's so congested. The dorms they reserved for people that were Hawaii residents, right? So I had no place to stay. I had to get an apartment, which I couldn't afford. I ended up having to get 2 jobs. I had 4 roommates in one apartment. It was crazy. Had the time of my life though. Bought a motorcycle. I was 20 years old, had a fake ID and a motorcycle, 750 GPZ Kawasaki. And I lived 1 block from the beach. Now, I had to end up doing that year over, but we won't talk about that. Now, back to the step show. So I did one step show in undergrad, right? And we won. And that just lit a fire, right? So now I'm like I'm like a professional, right? One step show. Went to Hawaii, and then they were, because I was gone, like my frat brothers were sending me videotape, VCR tapes of step shows and things of that nature.
VCR.
Right? So I was living like, literally, I was like, oh, I wish I was there, as I'm on the beach in Hawaii. So then I came back, I did another step show, graduated, and went to med school. So I get involved with the frat in med school. There was like 5 undergrads and like 10 graduate school. And so they had step shows every year. And I said, when's the last time you all won a step show? 10 years. They never won a step show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, we're going to fix that. I'm going to figure out if I can step with you all. I'm not even in undergrad. Right? So we go to the Panhellenic Council, blah, blah, blah. I say, listen, there's only like 4 or 5 undergrad members. Can we assemble a step team with the graduates as well, graduate chapter as well? So they say, yes. I'm like, it's on. So I assembled, I think it was about 10 of us. Half grad chapter, half undergrad. And I taught them all the steps that we did in Alabama. And we were like, practicing every other day, boom, boom, boom. We entered in the step show and won it.
Wow.
2 years in a row.
Nice.
2 years in a row. So now I'm step master. So I'm sailing, I'm step master, going to rock concerts, ping pong, sliding down, stuff. It was insane. So I got to tell this story. Another one of my closest friends, she's like, she was like my little sister, and we went to undergrad together and we went to med school. And so me and Chris would we'd be doing all this crazy stuff and sliding down, these mountains and stuff like this, right? These hills. So she says,
on the sled that you carried in the back of his truck.
So she says, lie. This is what she used to call me, lie. Next time y'all go, I want to go. I'm like, Cheryl, listen. Nah, I don't think you want to be out here,
right?
In the weather like this, doing
crazy.
I want to do it. So I said, okay. So we get out there, we're sliding down this, we found a big hill, right? So she's like, yeah, right? So I call her up, said we found one. So we got her, took her, put her on the thing. She slides down so fast, and then it hit a hill, and she got airborne and came down, bam, and ended up hurting her back, and her back went into spasm, had to take her to the doggone ER. So that was one of those times where I inspired someone to do different shit that didn't necessarily work out too well, right? But anyway, oh my goodness. So, but when I look back, the reason why it was such an epiphany for me today is because, my 2025 goal is to really kind of focus back on happiness, where I never had to focus on happiness before. It's like, it's not until I started to really have to focus on, business and learning stuff that I hadn't learned before and all of this, that I had to really, really focus in and deny my instincts. And that's to be a thrill seeker and all that. So to live. So I shut that down, right? And so now, as I'm trying to get back to that, I'm like, why do I have to try so hard to get back to that when that's who I was? And then I thought about it, and even what I do now, the reason why I'm so, all my adult working life, whether it's med school, like studying medicine to become a doctor, or whether it's being a doctor, or whether it's residency and in the hospital, or whether it's working in the hospital, that was always a job to me.
Right.
Medicine.
And I remember you saying you were trying to work less,
Yes.
you know, so that you did
So I can
have
pursue
time
my
to
passions.
be happy in things that you wanted to do.
Right. Medicine was not my passion because medicine, the study of medicine, this is the reason why. I was not an expert in medicine. I was learning. I learned a whole lot about medicine, but I'm studying other people's research. I'm studying what other people's knowledge, and I'm regurgitating what I was taught to other people. That doesn't make me an expert. That makes me, I know a lot about the subject matter, right? And I wasn't passionate about it. I'm like just prescribing people medications and treating their symptoms. I never was passionate about it. And so but I was always passionate about inspiring people to do different shit that enhance their quality. But I didn't recognize that. I thought I was just like, I just love having fun. So then when I decided to leave the disease world and go into health, that now I was inspiring people to do different shit so that they enhance the quality of their health.
Right.
Right? It was attached.
Which was the purpose that you went into it in the first place.
Exactly. That was the purpose of me going into it in the first place, because I wanted to make people happy and enhance their lives. But when I realized that medicine didn't do that, it saved lives, but it didn't enhance the quality of lives. Yeah. When I recognized that, then I said, you know what? This is my purpose. This is my passion. But here's the crazy thing. Health is not my passion. Mm-hmm. Health is a necessary ingredient to pursue. It's like a tool, just like wealth, right? Just like money. I like money. Money's a tool. I like health. Health is a tool, but a tool to do what? A tool to really live life to the fullest and be happy. And so I attach that, but I still was, the reason why that I love it is because I'm still inspiring people to do different shit. Like the stuff I inspire people to do is very different.
Right.
And so it's different shit to enhance their health so that they can enhance their life. Mm-hmm. But the ultimate purpose is just inspire people to do different shit. So if you sat up here and listened to 32 minutes of me rant and you don't typically do that, then I just inspired you to do different shit that you don't typically do. So boom. Now, there may be...
Goal accomplished.
Yeah, but hey, but 2 people on here, so I ain't really inspire that many people.
No, there's more than 2. There's 6.
Oh, there's 6 people. All right. Okay, all right. I'll take it. Oh, man. I'm sorry. I monopolized that. I was excited. I monopolized the whole conversation. But I was excited to tell you about that because I've been searching for that for a long time.
I'm happy that you told me because now I know.
Yeah. Now.
And each time I get a little bit more
information
than I had before.
Yes.
After all these years, you think you know somebody.
Well, anyway, thank you all for tuning in. Is there anything that you would like to share after I just monopolized the whole conversation?
No.
And we didn't even get into the topic. So there's some other negative beliefs. We'll have to push that to tomorrow. There are some other negative beliefs that have kind of, what's it called? Influenced my life, had a very big impact that I've had to change. Negative beliefs that I had to change my beliefs. And so we'll talk about that tomorrow.
Okay. Because I did have questions about that, but we ran out of time.
We'll talk about it tomorrow. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Talk to you later.
Bye, everybody. You don't know where.
I don't know where the end is. Oh, there it is.
We'll just stay on.
There it is.